Greetings friends and strangers alike, welcome one and all, I'm your friendly woodland elf and welcome back to Final Fantasy VII. Now this episode is going to be dedicated entirely to the Chocobo breeding racing minigame, so if you're not interested and just want to keep up with what's going on in the story, then feel free to skip this video, I'll see you in the next one. So first off, when can you start breeding Chocobos? Well, right after you get the High Wind and Escape Junon. However, you cannot start racing Chocobos until you complete the Medial section of the game and have Cloud back in your party. This is because from the start of Disc 2 up until Cloud is back in the party, the gold saucer is closed. So let's get started. First things first, you're going to need a lot, and I mean a lot of gil. The absolute bare minimum you're going to need is 60,000 to buy 6 stables at the Chocobo farm. Talk to Chocobo Bill in the cottage and he will give you the spiel about taking care of Chocobos, buy all 6 stables from him. The reason I say 60,000 is the minimum required is that it is actually possible to get the special Chocobos through breeding without racing your Chocobos first, but it's a really small chance, so I'd recommend racing them anyway, it doesn't take that much time. Now what do I mean by special Chocobos? Well, there are 4 kinds of Chocobo that are only obtainable through breeding, you cannot catch them anywhere in the world, and they have special abilities. There's the blue Chocobo, which has the ability to cross shallow waters and rivers, similar to the tiny bronco from earlier in the game. There is the green Chocobo, which has the ability to cross mountains. Next there is the black Chocobo, which has the abilities of both the green and blue Chocobos. And lastly, there is the coveted gold Chocobo, which has the abilities of all those that come before it, as well as the ability to cross deep water, making it possible to get anywhere on the map, even to places the High Wind can't go. So let's get catching Chocobos. To encounter a Chocobo, you must equip the Chocobo lure materia on a party member and run around on the Chocobo tracks found throughout the world. In a battle with a Chocobo, you must defeat all other enemies on the battlefield before the Chocobo runs away. Now you're going to need to keep the Chocobo around because the timer is kind of short, so they do kind of run away. At this point in the game, you're kind of going to one-shot enemies anyway, so it might not be that much of a bother, but if it is, to keep the Chocobo around, feed it some green. Tansel greens are a great choice because they keep the Chocobo busy for a decent amount of time, and they're really cheap. So now we know how to catch Chocobos, we're going to need to know which ones to catch. There are actually 8 tiers of Chocobo: terrible, bad, poor, average, fair, good, great, and wonderful. Now the only ones we need to worry about are the good, great, and wonderful, so don't worry about any of those others. Now whenever you catch a Chocobo and send it back to the stables, Chocobo Billy will give it a rating. He will tell you the quality of the Chocobo you caught. However, there is an easier way to identify the quality of Chocobo you're going to catch, and that's by identifying the enemies that it spawns with. Now good Chocobos are found in the Gold Saucer area and they spawn with 2 enemies called Spencer. Any other variations of Chocobo battle will not yield a good Chocobo, you're only going to want this one. So catch 2 good Chocobos and send them on back to the farm. Next we want some great Chocobos. These are found just outside of Medial and will spawn with either 1 or 2 enemies called a Spiral. Catch 2, send them back to the farm. So now we have our Chocobos back at the farm, you'll want to move them into the stables. As you do this, Chocobo Billy will tell you the Chocobo's quality and its gender. Now the quality will always be the same, but the gender is random, so I recommend saving just outside the farm each time you do this. You're going to want your good Chocobos to be 1 male and 1 female each, and your great Chocobos to be 1 male and 1 female each. If you don't get the right genders, just reset the game and try again. When you move the Chocobos into the stables, you're prompted to name them. Now with these Chocobos, they're not going to be around forever, they're going to have to be released later to make room, so don't get too attached to them. Name them something that can help differentiate, for example, I named mine Great Female, Good Male, you know what I mean, stuff like that. So now you have the 4 starter Chocobos you need, you're going to need to race them, but first you're going to need to get their racing stats up, which means you're going to have to feed them some greens. Now the only greens you should even be caring about is the silkiest greens. Ignore every single green that Chocobo Billy sells you, they're no good. You're going to want to go to the Chocobo Sage. And he sells silkiest greens at 5,000 gil each. Now you're going to need, I'd say around 30 for each Chocobo, so you're going to need a lot of gil. If you don't have enough, I recommend mastering and selling an all materia. For some reason, master all materials sell for crazy amounts, way more than any other materia in the game. I got 1.4 million for mine, I think it can deviate between shops. When you've got your greens, feed 30 to each of your 4 chocobos. When this is done, their stats are now at a good level to start racing. So when you go to the gold saucer, you'll see Esther in the chocobo racing section. Talk to her and she will enter one of your chocobos in a race. Now there are 4 ranks to racing: C, B, A and S. All chocobos will start out in C rank. You're going to need to get these 4 chocobos to at least B rank, but I'd recommend getting them to A rank because they're more than capable to do it with their stats. To advance in a rank, you have to win 3 races in the rank you're currently in. Now once you get to B rank and more so A rank, Joe will appear with his black chocobo Teo. If you see him, well, GG, because his chocobo stats are crazy, even better than yours. He is possible to beat, but it's very, very hard, so most likely if you come across him with these low level chocobos, you're going to lose. Thankfully he only appears mostly in A rank, so unless you're going for the S rank, you won't see him that much. He only has a very small chance of appearing in B rank races. So once you have all 4 chocobos to either B or A rank, it's time for them to get busy. Now to breed chocobos, you're going to need a special item called a nut. You can buy these from Chocobo Billy and the Chocobo Sage, but honestly don't bother. All of these nuts will only ever reproduce you another yellow chocobo. The only way to get these special coloured chocobos is with a very particular nut called a Carob Nut. These can be stolen from an enemy called Vlacoridos, and they can be found either in the grass outside Bone Village or in the little archipelago of islands that are just south of there. You're going to need to steal 3 Carob Nuts from these guys. Okay, once you have the Carob Nuts, it's finally time to get breeding. You're going to want to save outside first, just in case. You're going to want to breed your great male and your good female chocobos together, and they should give you a green chocobo. Now do the opposite and breed your great female with your good male, and you should get a blue one. You're going to want to make sure they're opposite genders because they will be breeding together later on, so if you don't get the right ones, just reset the game and try again. Now don't worry if you don't get the right colour chocobo, this does have a small chance of happening. It's not a glitch, it's not you've done anything wrong, just reset and try again. So once you have your green and blue chocobos, you're going to need even more silky screens. Now you probably won't need to feed them as many as the 4 starter ones, since when chocobos breed together they do gain some of the stats from their parents, so you'd only need to feed the blue and green ones, I'd say around 20 each. Once they're fed, it's time to get racing again. You're going to want to get these 2 to at least rank B, though again I would recommend rank A because it increases the chance of getting the correct breed and they're more than capable of making it. Once they're raced up, it's time to breed them together. Now unfortunately, the bred chocobos need time to mature before they can breed. For some reason they can race straight away, but they can't breed. Now the game counts this passage of time through random battles, so to accomplish this, just go outside and fight around 15 battles or so and they should be ready to breed. Now before you breed your blue and green chocobos together, you're going to make sure you have room in the stables, since at this point you're going to have 6 chocobos and you only get 6 stables. So unfortunately, you're going to have to release the 4 regular chocobos from before. This is why I said don't get too attached to them, because they won't stick around. Alright, so now you breed your blue and green chocobos together using your final Carob Nut and you should get a black chocobo. Again, if it didn't work, don't worry, just reset and try again. Now the black chocobo is going to need to breed with a wonderful yellow chocobo. To find these, head to the chocobo tracks in the snowy area to the north, and they can only be found in battles with either 1 or 2 enemies called jumping. Once you have the wonderful chocobo, head back to the farm and make sure it is the opposite gender to your black chocobo. Now like before, you're going to want to feed these 2 some greens. I'd say give around 20 greens to each because the wonderful chocobo's stats are much higher than the great and goods, so you don't need to feed them as much silky screens. And the black chocobo will have gained the stats from all those before it, so it won't need as many either, so 20 each is about enough. Once this is done, head to the gold saucer one final time. Now with these 2, I believe they do have to get to at least A rank, but again their stats should be good enough to get there. So once they are up to A rank, it's time for the final breed. Now to get the gold chocobo, you're going to need a different kind of nut. Head over to Goblin Island on the far east side of the map. It's like a strip of isles far north of Medeal. There's an island with a little forest on it, and there's only one enemy in that entire forest called a goblin. You can either defeat them to get a Zeo nut or steal a Zeo nut from them. You're only going to need one. So once you get the Zeo nut from these guys, be on your way, it's time to get that gold chocobo. breed your black and wonderful chocobos together with your Nut and you should get, if you did everything right, the ultimate gold chocobo. Once again, if it didn't work, don't worry, just reset and try again. So you might be asking, why are we doing this guide? What's the payoff? Well, some of the best material in the game is only obtainable with these special chocobos. There are 4 materia caves around the world. The first one is found northeast of Medial, and you'll need a blue or better chocobo to navigate the shallow waters around the cave to get to it. In this cave you'll find the Quadra Magic Materia. This is a support materia that, when equipped with a magic or a summon, will cast that said materia 4 times at reduced power for the price of 1 single cast. So it does work out at more damage than just casting a regular one, so it is definitely worth it. The next materia cave is found in the mountains south of Wutai, and you will need a green or better chocobo to reach it. Inside is the Mime materia, one of the best command materias in the entire game. Mime allows you to completely mimic the last action taken by a party member, with the exception of limit breaks, for no MP cost. This means you can chain together powerful spells and summons with absolutely no drawback. Next is a materia cave sort of southwest of Mount Coral, just across the river from that first cave you go in to get to Coral. You're going to need a black or better chocobo to reach this one. Inside is the HP to MP independent materia. Now to be honest, this materia is absolute crap. I can see what they were going for, but it just doesn't work for me. What this materia does is swaps a character's HP and MP totals, meaning that you can have a max possible 999 HP and 9999 MP instead of the other way around. Unfortunately, this falls short because you're never going to need that much MP anyway, and with that little HP, most enemies late game will one-shot you. But it's there if you want to try it out. Also, one quick thing to point out before we go on to the last materia cave, once you have a green or better chocobo, you can reach this area here called the Ancient Forest. It's above the mountains, it's on the mountains above Cosmo Canyon. You can get here by foot later in the game, but you can get here now with a chocobo, so it's there if you want it. And last but certainly not least is the materia cave located on Round Island, located in the far northeast corner of the map. It's not even on the map, you just kind of have to search around until you see it, unless you know where it is. You will need a gold chocobo to reach this, as a high wing cannot land on the island due to the thick forest. Inside you will find the most powerful summon materia, Knights of the Round. This is by far and away the most powerful spell in the entire game because it does a total of 13 hits, meaning if you max out your damage, you can hit just shy of 130,000 points of non-elemental damage in a single cast. So there it is, the Chocobo breeding and racing guide. What do you think of this guide? Maybe you have some different strategies to mine, maybe you have some awesome stories of like beating Joe with a low-level Chocobo. I don't know, whatever it is, feel free to put it in the comment section below. So that's going to be it for this episode. See you next time, and we will carry on with the story as normal. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.